konnichiwa. Petri ga kimashita. Kyou wa Yasuo no hanashi wo shimasu. I decided to talk about him because I want to put together all the things useful when playing him, except mechanics. That's on you. Now, as always, let's start with runes. Currently, you want to always go for Precision 3, because you want to go for Conqueror, which is best rune for Yasuo since you can stack it really fast and gives you a lot of sustain, and that increased damage helps you a lot too. In case you would go into a really hard matchup, like for example Akali or Azir, you can switch it for Fleet Footwork, which will give you some sustain in lane and can keep you healthy for gank or two. But problem with Fleet Footwork is that once you get out of laning phase, you will miss Conquer a lot. So at least if you're trying to start with Yasuo, always go for Conqueror and don't even think about Fleet Footwork. It will come as you play. For your next rune, you always want to go Trime since you don't have mana, and Overheal can work, but this is 12% of our max HP. Oh, missing health. Pardon. And you are also really gold realigned, so 20 gold can help you a bit, even though it's nothing big. Then uh, you usually want to take Alacrity, even though because your Q cooldown, even though if you're going for Yasuo top lane, I guess you could try to go for Tenacity, but Alacrity is going to be most of the time, at least on mid lane always. And last, as I said before, on mid lane you always want to go coup de grace. If you're playing Yasuo top lane, you can try to take cut down if you're going against some tanky matchup. But coup de grace is most of the time, as I said before, the best. This tree is pretty consistent. Then you usually will go into Domination with Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter for sustain in line and overall healing throughout the whole game, because your Q heals you a lot if you use it right. But yeah, no, Ravenous Hunter. If you would again are going into something hard, you can try to go for Resolve and take Bone Plating or Second Wind, depending on matchup. And sometimes you can go for Overgrowth, though you can change this one for Demolish if you want to push your lane quickly. But as before, Domination is safe pick. And for your smaller runes, you want to go Attack Speed, Adaptive Force, and Magic Resist or Armor, depending on your matchup. And that's everything for runes. See you in line. Okay, let's get into it. First, for your summoner spells, you always want to go Flash, and in combination with either Ignite or Teleport. I would take Teleport only if you're in a hard lane, as I was looking before. For example, Azir, which you almost can't engage on because he can play from other half of the map without you ever getting to him. So in those cases, I would take TP so you can make plays in other lanes or just get back faster. Other times, go for Ignite because you have insane early power and scale really well. So now let's get to items. Uh, for starting items, you almost always want to go for Duran's Blade, unless again in really hard matchups you can take Duran's Shield, but I would recommend Duran's Blade 99% of the time plus health pot. Then if you have to record early or just get a really early kill on level 1, you can take second Duran's Blade And if possible, you can try to buy refillable potion, but you work well with Turbulence Blade in this season too, so you can go for that. Then, for your first item you want to rush, you want to get Berserker Graves, because it really speeds up cooldown on your Q, your auto attacks, and you move faster, which helps you with your passive. So that's a really nice first buy. And then, thanks to Season 11, we have a lot of options. For typical build, you want to go Immortal Shield Bow as your first item, because it's just like a better Phantom Dancer. It gives you lifesteal, shield when you drop, plus then the lifesteal is increased. Critical strike chance, attack damage, attack speed, it gives everything Yasuo needs. Plus passive gives you health and attack damage too. If you won't be building Immortal Shield Bow, you can go for Triforce, but I would recommend that mostly on top lane, because Triforce give you some tankiness and attack speed, plus thanks to its mythic passive, you don't have to build so much attack speed in other items and can try to go into more tanky builds. But on mid lane, Shield Bow should be working every time. And then this is a discussion that's been going on for a few weeks now. Uh, your second or first item can or third can be either Guns's Storage Blade or Infinity Edge. If you're in against a team comp that has early scaling, so many assassins, things like this, you can go for Rage Blade, since it applies all the physical damage from 20% attack speed. Great chance. Sorry, I'm confused. So you can even go for that as your first item, since it's much cheaper than the rest of them and can help you. Otherwise, you want to get Immortal Shield Bow and then Infinity Edge. You want to go this into more scaling matchups, and if the enemy team is tankier, because your ultimate gives you that crit, crit attacks that crit penetration. Oh my god! And thanks to Gwinson's Rage Bank deleting your crit chance, you basically can't do that. So into tanky matchups, definitely Infinity Edge, and Rage Blade into matchups where you need to scale more early. And then for finishing build, you always want to get Cloak of Agility, so you can finish your 100% crit chance. And from that, you can build differently. I usually go for Bloodthirster because all of that additional healing it gives. Or you can try to go for Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster, Death's Dance. Sometimes you can try to go for Phantom Dancer instead of Bloodthirster, but I think that healing from Bloodthirster serves you more than the shield. And then you always want to go Guardian Angel. And last item changes on matchup. You either want to go for Mortal Reminder if they have a lot of healing. Sometimes you can get Dev's Dance after that as your last item, or you can just go ahead and try to take Lord Dominic's into tanky matchups. And yeah, I guess that's going to be everything for items. And now let's have a quick look at abilities. If you already know what all of Yasuo's abilities do. You can instead skip to next time mark where I will be talking about their combined usage and things like this. So, first, Yasuo's passive. Every time you move, you are every time you move. So, every time you move, you are granted a part of your resolve passive, which grants you shield, when attacked by enemy champion or jungle monster. So it applies to all movement attacks, so your E can increase it really quickly, and faster you move, faster it gets. On level 1 it's I think 120 shield, and it slowly scales up to this 500. Your second part of your passive is intent, which basically doubles your critical strike, and it kind of works a bit worse this season since you need 3 critical strike items to finish it up to 100, but it's still better than 5 items that all the others has built. Now your Q. You strike in a uh, you strike to your cursor, dealing additional damage and all damage and 100% of your attack speed. It also applies all the on-hit effects on your auto attacks, and basically is counted as an auto attack. So if you get stunned, it gets deleted and things like that. When you use it for a second time, you gain this circle around you, which is the double of your normal range. And after that, you can send out a tornado, which will knock up every enemy in the way. You, of course, want to max and upgrade this as your first ability, since it has low cooldown and is main source of your damage. That's gonna be probably everything to that. I would just like to say that if you use it in lane and you hit enemy champion, but there's a minion standing in front of them, you will instead you will not be attacked by all enemy minions because they do not count it as attacking a champion. Champion is still damaged, but minions do not care. So try to always position one enemy minion between you and enemy so you can trade more freely. Now I will just quickly talk about E, which is your dash in this circle. You will always go constant distance, so as you can see, I will go here. If I stand right next to him, I will still go there. It's a great mobility spell. On level 1 it has half a second cooldown, which goes down as you can see to 0.1 second. And you usually want to use this as an ability to dodge skill shots and other things. Also noted, it deals quite a low damage, but damage is stacked on every time you use it. So right now I dealt 160, now it's 185. It's not big damage increase, but keep it in mind, early game it can help you. You want to max this as your second, since every target uh, can be damaged only few seconds, as you can see on this circle around here. And yeah, if you use your Q while dashing, you will instead strike in a circle around you, which means that it's area of effect spell now, so it can't be blocked by other shields like Samira. which, by the way, this Q is still a skill shot, so it can be dodged. But oh, sorry, I messed up. Not Samira. That doesn't matter. Well, uh, you mostly want to use this on your third Q with a knock up, so you can ensure that you will hit it when you're in a fight. So you want to dash towards target, knock them up, and then continue. Now, your W is infamous wind wall. You will be maxing this last because it has, even on last level, it has really long cooldown, and all that's changing is width of the wall. But when you cast this spell from center of your character model into the location, you will send out this monstrosity that blocks all enemy projectiles. By projectiles, I mean everything that has a trajectory and it looks like it flies. So you will stop normal skill shots like, let's say, Swain's E, uh, Lux Q. You won't, on the other hand, stop anything that just will be created from nothing. For example, Brand's W, or I don't know, Xerath Ultimate. Also, you can't block lasers. So, for example, Lux Ultimate, Xerath Q will go through the shield since they're not really, they don't have a trajectory, they just appear in the area. And yeah, that's gonna be everything to win well. You always want to use it so when enemy champion drops some great ability, you can easily block it. Or when you're attacking a tower, you can just drop it behind tower so nobody can attack you and you can finish the tower easily off. Also in team fights, you can just drop it so to protect your backline champions. And finally, your ultimate. You will teleport behind a target that was knocked up. It doesn't have to be your knock up, so that's why Yasuo was quite a long time used in bot lane with Malphite, because Malphite ulted, then you ulted, and enemy team was unexistent. But every time you knock someone up, you can, if you have cooldown, use this ultimate. It also has really low cooldown, so that is another thing to keep in mind. But your cursor can highly affect where will you teleport. For example, if I will knock up these two guys here and put my cursor in middle, I will be getting the closest target. For example, I think that, yeah, they are too far, so that was a bad example. Let's do it like this. So, you can affect where you will teleport. So right now I will get only to the backline. So if you want to get most out of it, you want to get in the middle of your enemy, unless you know that you will die if you get there. So right now you could have knocked up all three of them. It's easily controllable. So that is another nice thing. But since it also makes the knockup last 1 second longer and scales nicely with your AD ratios. Also, when you are near an enemy tower, you will not teleport behind the target. So as you can see here, when I would walk it even, oh, where I am. Okay, okay. Give me a while. I have to show you right. So, yeah. So when I would walk behind the target, I would be attacked. But your ultimate works the way that it always faces against the turret. So normally you would be teleported behind, but when there's a turret, you will always end up as far from the turret as possible. Even if I try to make it from a side, you can see you just won't get in the range of turret if possible. So that is a really nice thing to know about Last Breath. Now, since we have most of the, well, all of the abilities explained, we can get into some combos and nice usage of abilities. Uh, I think I could start with the combos. So, uh, your first one is going to be just your Q flash, which you can use to finish off targets that are outside of your effective range. So, of course, you want to do Q first because it has some cast time. So, when you get out of your flash, you will already use it. If you do it the other way, it's slower and your target may have chance to flash away too. Uh, yeah. Then one of the more known Yasuo's combos is gonna be your EQ and flash onto another target, where you basically dash to one target, use your, area of the effect as I was talking before, and go for some squish in the backline. It can be followed by an ultimate and quick finish off. So that's one nice thing to know. Another, at least in my opinion, really useful thing is going to be you queue one target, then EQ the closest possible, and then ult the original target. Because then you will end up with one stack of Q more and can, you know, knock up faster. It also is good to know that you will have the dash available to use on your original target. So just one more time, you want to queue the one here. And if I would be able to hit one Q, well, doesn't matter. Uh, you. Oh, I almost forgot. Notable thing to get here: you need to have your Q cooldown lower than 1.5 seconds, because your E, if your Q has, I will turn this off. If your Q has cooldown lower than half a second, your E resets it. So as you can see here, I actually hope you saw that. Yeah, you didn't because I messed it up. But your E resets your Q. So you can then do that. And for some really advanced, but not it is really cool, and everybody would love to do that sometime. But it's not as useful. You can combine these two, so you would flash your target, E them, and then ult. Yeah, and that's gonna be it for combos. Now into some nice things to laning and movement. So first, you can use your E to dash through any camp in jungle except legendary and epic creatures. So you need to use your attack champions only move so you can get as close to the monsters as possible, but then you can easily dash through them and get to the shortcuts. It is always working, and oh yeah, you can of course on Raptors you can do it on both sides, either here or here. I would just like to show you all of them so you know. Of course, on Wolves you will be able to get through these sides, and in my opinion, the most useful one is here on Gromp, where you can get quickly to line. Uh, another night, yeah, of course. Your W can also grant you vision of area around. Okay, so your W can grant you the vision of area. So when you do this, you can use it instead of a ward if you don't have any, and get through the jungle easily. Of course, you can also use this not just on monster camps but also on champions. So let's say that there would be an enemy running here. We can just windwall there and dash to them. Though it is a really nice escape when you are trying to get away, you just W on the other side of the wall, dash to the monster, and since there's a wall, they can't damage you with skill shots. And yes, I think that's gonna be everything to the usage of these things. Also, when you're trying to take enemy jungle camps, keep in mind that even the smallest of raptors can destroy your shield. So I personally would go for camps in jungle only when you are really ahead or when you know that it's safe, because your shield gives you a lot of usage. Now, in line, you always want to play on your side of the map because you are really vulnerable against the ganks, since you can only dash into enemies. And okay, also some trading combos. Let's say that your enemies, you're playing here, you're both farming, you can quickly dash through one minion or preferably into your enemy, Q them, auto attack them, and dash through minion away. It's really quick combo, and if you have your passive shield up, even if they damage you, they won't deal some damage that would hurt you a lot. Uh, of course, I guess that I don't even have to say this, but on level 1 you can just wait for many minions to get low enough and Q all three of them with your Q to get them easily. Once you are outside of laning phase, you most of the time want to play alone, because in 1v1 you are extremely strong, and only problem that holds you back is CC. So you can look to fight in team fights, mostly if you have a knockup based team comp, like for example Ornn works extremely well with Yasuo. But most of the time you just want to be splitting and let your team do Baron while you push bot lane otherwise. And yeah, I guess that's gonna be it. For matchups, you do extremely well in like almost any assassin into immobile champions, and you are really vulnerable to assassins and anyone with CC. I hope that you learned something new, and see you in the next video. Petri out!